Good afternoon, everyone. And welcome to another edition of Quarantime. Episode 28. Please do us a favor. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to share this on your favorite social media platforms. If you guys got an ad, that's awesome. Appreciate anybody who watched it. Job security for Methods and I. We've got a lot to go over today, guys. News, posts, some really cool things. I hope you guys had a great day yesterday. I know Methods and I enjoyed our time off. This weekend was wonderful. Darling, I hope you're listening. I love you. Real Red Pill Girlfriend. Special thank you to all the mods. Special thank you to all the Patriots watching. We've got people from all across the globe in the room. Denmark, beautiful. California, I saw Texas, Colorado, Delaware, Tucson, Texas, Vermont, Ruth Bader Gonsberg. Group C, what's up, dude? Pegster 6, don't worry, man, you didn't miss anything. Methods and I took a day off. There was no show yesterday. So anybody feeling guilty that they might have missed the program yesterday, there was no program either at 2 or 6. But today we are committed to a full hour of the most informative, patriotic news you can get on this platform. And then at 6 p.m., we'll be back for part 2 with Red Pill News. All right, guys. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming my co-host, as always, Methods. What's up, Methods?
What's going on, brother? Hey, YouTube chat. I just wanted to say, to everybody here, I apologize for what happened on Sunday during our Comfy Sunday show. I was really looking forward to hanging out and chatting with X22 and Red Pill. But the storms came through the South, and I didn't even know that the storms were happening, right? I was just listening, hanging out in the show. The stream cuts off, and then I hear thunder, and I look out my window, and it's the apocalypse happening. And then I was like, okay, well, the power will be out for a little bit. I'll come back. Well, it took about 24 hours. So we got through it. There were some grocery casualties that happened, but besides that, everything's fine. Thank you guys for understanding, and sorry for scaring people.
Man, I'll tell you what, I got quite the jolt in the middle of that show, Methods. I was able to take care of it. I was lucky enough to have White Hat call in. He was there for me to bounce a couple things off of. White Hat, I want to say thank you, buddy, for being available. But, it was a great conversation. I would say the only thing that I regret about that show with Dave was that you weren't there, dude. It was such a bummer,
I didn't get to ask him, or thank him for giving me my nickname. And that was on the top of my checklist. Maybe next time I'll ask him about it. But yeah, thank you to everybody that was concerned. I couldn't even get the data on my phone to work to download any app to message you. That's how bad it was with the connection out here. But things are a lot better on the up and up. I'm excited to be back hanging out with everybody. I hope everybody's had a great start of a week so far. So yeah, man, let's get into it.
Yeah, yesterday was a much needed break. So thank you everyone for being patient enough to allow us to do that. And I just need to say, first of all, to Navy Vet, RP, what did you use to decalcify your pineal gland? I sent you an email a while back. I actually don't know that I've ever specifically decalcified my pineal gland. I don't drink fluoridated water. I will tell you what, that is very important because that is what actually calcifies your pineal gland. So I would imagine just, over the past couple of decades not drinking fluoridated water, that right there, your body would go ahead and, clean it out. There's probably, I would say just go on YouTube, look for some type of, specific frequency track that's like 6 to 8 hours long. You can put on while you're sleeping, and I bet you that will actually probably help in some way. And then Stephanie Oostvin, the critter girl, thank you very much, Stephanie. Kathleen says, where's James Woods? I don't know. Where is James Woods, Methods? Do you know anything?
Well, I think he got hacked. I haven't looked since it happened, but when you have advertisements for sunglasses sales that happened out of a tweet from a guy like James Woods, then obviously it was some type of hack situation.
All right, Matt Fantazzi says you can find vibrational frequencies that can decalcify. I know that I've listened to those on YouTube before. But beyond that, aluminum-free deodorant helps also, Girafang says, or Girafang. Also iodized salicylic acid. Well, we'll have to check it out. Navy Vet Lady says, live in 54 minutes. No, we are live right now. If you're not seeing a live show, what the heck is going on? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, we're not in the future shooting it for now. So
Tammy, Dr. Tammy, nobody blocked you. You're still here, Dr. Tammy. Don't worry about it. Okay. All right. So there are a bunch of different posts that we wanted to go over. And we wanted to start off at post, not 4105. It was here we go. Post 4096. And that is the one about information warfare. The Dems are apparently deploying AI technology. There's a group, a political action committee of some type, which is headed up by former General Stanley McChrystal. Now, he was a lifelong Republican, if I'm not mistaken. And then all of a sudden, he's a Democrat. He's siding with the leftists. But they are deploying a DARPA, so a United States government-funded AI, which is going to target pro-Trump accounts. And it's going to basically determine what the pro-Trump narrative is. And then it's going to amplify the counter-argument from leftist accounts. So what you'll probably see is popping up into your news feed tweets from people that you would never expect to see. Maybe on Facebook also you'll see articles and posts from people that maybe you don't follow, people that are basically saying anything against the president or giving an argument against this movement, perhaps. It's kind of a crazy thing. The thing that really bugs me about it, Methods, is that this is a government-funded project that is being deployed by this civilian political action committee.
Right. And I mean, Facebook's admitted to doing these things before. If you remember years back, they had said that they were doing experiments essentially on people's emotions by sharing more negative stuff in their news feed from people that they were following or friends with or whatever you call it on Facebook. Mm-hmm. And they were to then see if it would affect their moods. Mm-hmm. So they were already testing these ideas for a while. So it makes complete sense to use, AI to do that, or, amplify counter arguments or narratives, or just support Biden, things like that. Mm-hmm. We know a lot of these things have to be deployed because we are owning the social media platform when it comes to information, the memes, the support of our president, the destroying of narratives. They can't allow that to happen for, in their eyes, because another Trump, a second term is doomed to them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're going to be absolutely done. Bruce Wayne says, RP, you need to check email from Willow Pet Hotel regarding Penn. Okay. I will look for Willow Pet Hotel after the show. And Daddy Crab says, isn't that treason? Well, I mean, technically they say they're only amplifying the president's, the arguments against the president's arguments. They're not actually working to unseat him, although the end goal would be to unseat him. I think it's one of those gray areas. And several people did mention that government funded means taxpayer funded. Yes, that is definitely the case. So it's called Defeat Disinfo. And in quotes, it's going to be utilizing artificial intelligence and network analysis to map discussion of the president's claims on social media, and then attempt to intervene by identifying the most popular counter-narratives and boosting them through a network of more than 3.4 million influencers across the country. In some cases, paying users with large followings to take sides against the president. That right there is the most disgusting part of it.
Well, they want you to follow the stars, right?
Yeah, exactly.
They want to have those voices that have those followings, because that's built-in advertisement, and you're getting somebody else to do it. I saw a clip earlier, and I somehow got through listening to Cardi B talking about how she's wondering if these celebrities are getting paid to say that they got the Kung flu.
Did she say that out loud?
Yeah, she said it out loud, and then her next statement was, because I want to say it because I want to get paid. And she just said it straight up on some Instagram, and somebody moved it over to YouTube. The rant is obnoxious. It was a mess, but she was essentially calling it out from even her perspective that she didn't believe that these people had it. Well, so yeah.
The first thing I thought when I saw that was Tom and Rita Hanks. Okay, Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson. How they supposedly took HCQ, but that it didn't work very well, and that they got super sick, which is directly countering the president's narrative that it's a well-known and well-respected, safe-to-use medicinal treatment for this malady that
right. Well, they lived, didn't they?
They did live.
I know. So it worked, right?
Yeah. You'd have to think so. And then you have these. What's the other one? Remdesivir or something like that. The one that's $1,000.
Remdesivir, something like that.
Yeah, $1,000 a pill. $1,000 a pill. That's exactly what we need. Do you realize that the studies that they've done show that although it reduces the viral load in your body, it has absolutely zero effect on the mortality of whatever this is. Okay, what is the point? What's the point of taking it if it's not going to change the outcome of you living or dying?
Right, and another point I will make on this, I'm not justifying, because I know that there's certain bad actors that have been tied to that drug, but the announcement of that is that they're donating like 100 or 1.5 million pills or whatever you call it to the cause. So that $1,000 a pill, it's not like they're immediately coming out and saying, we could save your life, but it's going to cost you, most of your stem check. But yeah, I mean, it's still going to be bad because people are going to still need to take it. And if we have another outbreak of this next year, it's not like they're going to then be nice again, about it. But I agree with you. It's all a mess, because it sounds to me like the former one, the hydroxychloroquine, is the better route. But I'm not a pharmacy fairy, so I don't know.
Yeah, not medical advice. Baby Love 78 says, have you seen the Hanks Right State U video? Had a weird ad on Twitter today called Cloud Bees. I tagged you in a post. The symbol in the video explaining the services, too many coincidences. I did not see it. No, so I haven't seen it. But Sheila Garrett says, POTUS leaving for Arizona today called us warriors, and we are, definitely. And then Trump Be Cool says, ever notice when our favorite Anon says boom week, so many go straight to arrests? Our favorite Anon said one step at a time. The steps are getting bigger, but 17 plus will signal the big arrests. Yeah, people always seem to think that, it's one thing or the other. I tend to think that it's just, announcements or events that take place that are impactful. And that could be quite the spectrum of different things. I have no idea when these arrests are going to happen, or, I'm not going to say if, I'm going to say when, because I truly believe they will. But, and it's one of those things, don't get your hopes up, guys, because it could be any number of a couple of different things. And this will kind of tie into some of the other posts here.
And real quick, Mark Pascal out there says donating pills is a typical drug dealer tactic. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree entirely. That's where it's kind of sketchy that they're like, oh, here, we'll be the saviors for a bit, but here's the price tag just in case.
First one's free.
Yeah, right. That's a great point, Mark.
So the other thing about it is, even if they donate like a handful or whatever, then at some point they're going to start charging. And even if they don't charge individuals, they're going to charge your insurance company. Now, insurance costs are already ridiculous. Because I'm self-employed, I have to pay hundreds of dollars a month for myself and my daughter to have health insurance. It's almost untenable. But if I don't do that, then the alternative is looking at getting a $6,000 to $10,000 hospital bill if I have to go in for anything. When I went to the hospital back at the beginning of March, it was over $6,000 for less than 48 hours in the hospital. And I don't even know how much of that my insurance is going to cover yet. It was just ridiculous to me that that's the way that healthcare is run, that's how much it costs, because it doesn't have to be that much. It's because you got places like these pharmaceutical companies charging $1,000 a pill for something that is completely unnecessary, unproven, doesn't work, doesn't do anything to help out. It's ridiculous. Let's see. And Baby Love says, sent you an email about Hanks Wright University commencement speech. All right, let me see if I can go to my email real quick.
While you're doing that, Jojo K, one of our great mods in the chat, is saying World Red Cross Day is May 8th. Any connections? I didn't know that was May 8th.
Me either.
That's definitely interesting. When you remind, the red stringers, the stuff that gets talked about Red Cross.
Yeah.
The package in the queue in our favorite anons post, that has the red plus sign on it. But that's definitely interesting, Jojo. Thank you for bringing that up.
Mr. Anderson says HCQ is an ionophore. So is chloroquine, quercetin, blueberries, elderberries. Ionophores carry zinc past the cell walls. Zinc blocks replication of virus and bacteria in the cell. I have some homeopathic cold and flu medicine, which is made from elderberries. That makes a lot of sense that you just said that. So very cool. Thank you for that information. Definitely appreciate it. Let me see here. So moving on to our next topic. So there was a lot of posts in the last couple of days, guys. So we're not going to be able to go through all of them. But
and to that point, the Mandalorian, no, I do not drop our favorite anon post before the show to have more to talk about. But hey, happy you're here, bud.
Hey Jude says, I am a pharmacy expert. Check out artemisinin and sweet wormwood, natural, related to HCQ. It's even available on Amazon. Very, very cool. All right, good stuff. Yeah, I take vitamin C, I take vitamin D, I take zinc every day. So the next post that we want to talk about, post 4101, why is there an active, coordinated disinformation campaign being deployed using misleading headlines, no original source, tactics pushed in attempt to amplify, direct original source attacks, or push predetermined and orchestrated false claim statements of others? Think decodes. Constant mainstream media attacks. Why? When does the enemy expend ammunition? For what purpose? Well, probably when they're pinned down. Question what you read. From every source, use discernment. Now, Methods and I often say on this channel, I say it myself, I know he said it himself on Twitter, you got to check everything out for yourself, you guys. We encourage you to do your own research for a reason, because you can't just allow somebody to spoon feed you the information, especially if there's no links, there's no sauce. If it's just some random tweet, you have no idea how many times I get an email with a tweet, this person said this about Trump, and it sounds right, so I believe it. No, it's BS. It's not true. This person said this, so it must be true. You have to have source information. You have to have either primary source information, or you have to have legitimate reporting with data to back it up. People have gotten really hung up on the idea that, certain things didn't happen on certain dates because certain people said that they were going to. And this is why we said a couple weeks ago when we did this, a big long show about it, you cannot just accept something for the truth because it is a person that you believe should know the information. We talk about things as theories, and we talk about things as fact when we have sauce to back it up. It's very important. Now, you've got this coordinated campaign coming out, attacking this movement and our favorite Anon. You've got people purposely spreading disinformation, and it's happening on both sides of the fence. Some people, I think, just want attention. Some people are just trying to destroy us. Some people might not know any better. It happens, across the gamut. But this post right here talking about people coming up with decodes and not saying it's a theory or not even hinting at the fact that it's a theory, it takes away credibility. And then you have this coordinated attack of people saying, well, our favorite Anon said this. No, hold on a second. There was a particular account doing a decode that said that. And, and they didn't say it was a theory. Somebody said it was going to happen, and then it doesn't happen, and then people get upset. All right, so this is a perfect example of what Methods and I have been talking about for a long time.
Right, and we're not trying to necessarily take credit like, oh, our favorite Anon's pointing to us in this case by any means.
No, not at all.
And especially that line, question what you read from every source. And he's got from every source in the kill box and the brackets. That includes us. If we say things and we don't drop an article, or if we forget to, go find the article, go find the information yourself, verify it, call us out if we're wrong. We'll try our best to, correct it. But that, like what Red Pill was saying, and he was on point about it. That's why we don't say names on like, oh, so-and-so said this and it was wrong and it ended up sliding the situation and causing problems for everybody. Because that's not the point.
No.
The point of the situation is that, let's say, a random person says something, it takes off on social media, and then it ends up being wrong. You're disappointing people. You're bringing their spirits down. You're giving fuel to the shill fire. We also watch the shills fuel it and take it even further. When something breaks and it's true, I can typically find a comment that's taking it then to the extreme.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to be very careful about that stuff. That's why we take our time on things. But when those things come out, like Red Pill, myself, a lot of our friends who do YouTube shows and other people, we get flooded with these tweets saying, oh, you need to cover this, or what do you think about it and stuff. And when we don't see any sauce in it whatsoever, then we have that personal conviction to not cover it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not throwing shade at anybody. We need to be unified throughout all this stuff. Maybe a day in the future, we can talk about things a little bit more like that. But for now, I mean, it's more important to just verify these things. And if anybody makes any claim whatsoever, it's a good way to practice researching by going and finding out and figuring it out for yourself. And you're training yourself to be able to do this more on your own. And we know you don't have a lot of time. So a lot of people, really don't. But when you hear these things, I suggest not repeating it in the same way, because the echo chamber becomes fact.
Yeah.
And then it ends up being pointed out as wrong. And then we get the articles that are attacking us and make it crazy. And then we hear from like my relatives. I mentioned once that I'm into this stuff with our favorite Anon. And then they referred to all the articles. And they said, well, first off,
said.
Well, they're like, first off, it makes sense that you're into this stuff because they already know I've been crazy for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But also, it fuels. We don't need to help that narrative, especially during these times, because they're coming after us. They're trying to take us all down, and we don't need to give excuses because they're putting out things now saying, we're going to take down videos or accounts if they put out false information.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what if you're putting out that nugget of truth that needs to be exposed, but then you have other things wrapped around it that are just theory? That's justification on their platform, and they were warning you that they're going to take you down.
Mm-hmm.
And then the gem is lost.
Now, I want to show you guys something, and this is, we're not trying to call anybody out. I have no idea what any one individual's reasons are for putting out the information. It could totally be that they see something that resonates with them and they get excited and they're like, wow, I want to share this. It could be that they've been fooled by somebody and they think that what they're being shown and what they're trying to share is true. Or it could just be that they're asking for help. Can somebody help me verify this? It's great to qualify it, like to say, hey, this is a theory that I saw and I want to know what you guys think about it. That's why we talk about it like that. But here is an article that someone just emailed me, and thank you to whoever emailed this to me because it's perfect for this conversation. But it is this website right here. I'm going to pull it up on the screen. ASPA, that's what it's called. I don't know what it means, but this is a free Wix website. Somebody built this, buildinglives101.wixsite.com. This didn't cost them any money to set up. It has a template. They just go ahead and punch the information in, and it says exclusive sealed indictments issued on Dr. Fauci. Okay? If this information was correct, it would be reported someplace besides just a free Wix website. And it would have backing information. It would have some sauce behind it. But all it has is this YouTube video. I don't even know who this is. And I don't know what they say in it. It could be that they are presenting it as a theory that they've heard. I haven't seen the video. But I just want everybody to know that if there is an indictment for Dr. Fauci, it has not been announced yet. So that's an excellent example right there. Check the information. And somebody said we call things fake news and then we read the fake news. We are here to help you guys at the best we can. And at the same time, we're going through all this stuff and we're trying to find the truth in it because the best disinformation is laden with truth. So we're going to take a look at some fake news like MSNBC, MSDNC. We're going to take a look at Daily Beast. We're even taking a look at Breitbart. Sometimes we find fake news there or things that we know are just not true there. But we are digesting it and we're going through it and we're processing the information. If we were just to ignore it and stick our heads in the sand, I think that we would be doing ourselves a disservice. The more that you read this stuff, the more that you use discernment to comb through it, the easier it is to recognize the stuff that they're trying to trick you with. So this is a public service as much as anything else. Not trying to call anyone out at all, but I just want you guys to know that this stuff is happening, all right? Information warfare, irregular warfare, psychological warfare, they're all falling in the same category, and we're watching it take place right now. This is happening all across the globe. So there's actually another example here that I thought would be nice to illustrate. It's from the Post. Let's go ahead and take a look. All right, so this is in response to, the tweet was deleted. They deleted the original tweet, which was talking about some claims that supposedly came from our favorite Anon, that never came from our favorite Anon, and they got called out. So that post that the tweet was in response to the person saying that our favorite Anon said all this stuff. All right, so the next important post that we have is a little resource provided by our friends from the NSA, no such agency. But first, real quick, let me say, Redbird says, at M3, Epstein didn't hornet himself. I almost spit on my coffee when I read that. I almost did too. G. Jenkins says, RP and M3, what do you think about POTUS talking about the vax? Well, I think that vax, pokes, they exist in our society. They are something that the scientific community are constantly working on. There's a lot of people out there who feel safer when you say that word. But I will say this, never in the history of mankind has a vax ever been created for a CV, whether it's 19 or 1 through 18. They've never created a vax that was successful against that stuff. So it's not going to be developed. And if they do develop it, it's not going to be real. That's just my armchair opinion, not medical advice. But some people feel safer thinking that there is one of those things coming down the pipeline. And of course, there is an architecture built up in this country to create and produce and then mass market those things. So POTUS, he's talked about it, but I feel he's talked a lot more about HCQ and what's going to be coming. It's optics. There you go, Patriot Drummer. Optics. He's doing it just because he has to say it, okay? If he didn't talk about it, they would attack him for it, all right? So now he puts it out there. He says, you know, it's part of his lexicon, what he's talking about. And then the fake stream media have just one less thing to attack him over.
Right. Yeah. My body, my choice.
Yes.
If it's out there, fine.
Yeah.
You know, don't take it if you don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't see forced vaccination or vax coming down the line.
So Baby Love 78 says, I am learning about being gullible. When I first started watching your channel and following our favorite Anon, I was very naive. I'm growing, though. You two are great examples. Well, awesome. Thank you very much, Baby Love. I'm glad that we can help, because that's the thing. I've been in everyone here. I've been in your shoes before. Okay, when you first start learning how deeply you've been lied to throughout your entire life, it's very easy to just, you know, fall for something when somebody tells you it. Because you're like, wow, you know, if this was possible, if A was possible, then B could also be possible. Why not? One thing that really bugs me are those Neon Nettle articles talking about, like, Keanu Reeves said this about the elite, or Robert De Niro admitted this about the elite. Those quotes are always fake, all right? But they get clickbait titles, and then they put it on there, and then everybody shares it, and they make hundreds of thousands of dollars sharing that stuff. Diane W. says they can run, but they can't hide. They can censor and disrupt information, but they cannot stop what is coming. Yeah, they're trying, though. They're certainly trying. Verified user says, Fauci knows he's in deep. You'd think he'd lay low, but he just keeps talking. Gitmo awaits. I think he probably does have some idea about how in deep he is. And we've actually got an article we're going to talk about directly related to that. Vengeful One, with the new Punisher meme from the most recent post, or one of the most recent posts, says, keep up the good fight, Red Pill 78 and team. Glad to have you and the team on the front lines battling and exposing the rats. Where we go one, we go all. Glad to be here with you, buddy. Words to live by, John 3:16. Thank you for joining as a member. TL Push, thank you for joining as a member. Allison Blyer says, POTUS brings up things, doesn't mean he agrees. Gets people discussing. Points out good and bad. Exposes bad. Doesn't mean he's pro-vax. Love you guys. I could not have said it better myself. Okay? Just because President Trump mentions it does not mean that he is pushing for it. And then LJ Blue Skies said, Methods, I DM'd you on Twitter with good sauce, I hope. Go ahead and check it out if you can, Methods. So
yeah, I'm looking at it, and I'll check you out, and I'll write you back in a DM about it. Well, hey, we've got over 4,300 people hanging out with us. See, 1.2 thousand likes. Let's see if we can get that to jump up a bit. Thank you to everybody who's shown up in our PayPal, and to all the mods and everybody.
Yeah, you guys are the best. I appreciate you. Mom, I saw you earlier in the chat. Just wanted to mention that I love you. So this was the information in the next drop. So Ghidra is a software package from No Such Agency, which is a suite of tools that allow you to reverse engineer software. You can also use it to crack encryption codes. You can do a lot of stuff with it. You have to use certain types of file extensions that you can actually investigate and look into, and you have to install it on your computer. I believe Windows, Mac, Linux, all of them. You have to have the Java development kit installed. Then you run the Ghidra software package, and then there's a couple of steps that you have to go through in order to start investigating things. It's a little bit technical, and if you're not a code geek, then it might take you a little while to be able to use it successfully. Now, luckily, I have just a small amount of experience with code, so I wanted to show you guys, this is the actual help file. So it takes you through, it tells you exactly how to use it, it tells you all of its intended uses, and there's a lot of good information in here. So if you just want to download it just for that, just to take a look, then it's totally worth it. And then here is the actual Ghidra pane right here. And I've started my first project, first test. We're going to take some stuff and we're gonna take it apart, you know, see if we can't find some interesting, hold on, I think that this other pane here will show you some personal information about my computer, and I don't want to show that one off. But you can use it to take a look for malicious code in software. I thought that it might be interesting to go through the Vault 7 tools. Check that out. I'll do that, and I'll come back and let you guys know about it. So yeah, a lot of fun right there if you're into that. Now, what's interesting in the next post, it says, oh, I'm sorry. Somebody says, so after our favorite Anon posts it, and another Anon posts it and says, should probably get around to messing with that. And our favorite Anon in the original drop says, toolkits can be helpful. And then in the next post is that Red Cross box. And it's kind of indicating that, this is a present. Maybe we can use this to do some cool things. I know on Twitter, Sheep No More suggested that perhaps it could theoretically be used to take the source code from the Twitter application, extract the negative stuff like the shadow banning and the deboosting stuff, and then rebuild it, because you could just rebuild it without all that code, and then reinstall it on your phone. I have an iPhone. I can't do it on my iPhone, but if you have an Android or you have something else, then you could probably try it on there. I would love to know if anybody is successful with that. Now, let me show you the next one. We've got this.
One thing that our buddy White Hat had mentioned to me, and I mean he could probably come and explain further on another show, but he believes that it's possible that Ghidra would be the replacement for CrowdStrike.
Yeah,
because of what they're going to be going through with everything coming out and stuff, and it's becoming tainted. That Ghidra would be the future.
Mm-hmm. What's also extremely possible, and was the first thing I thought, was that they could use it as a recruitment tool. I would imagine that if you download it, they're probably going to know you downloaded it. And if you get anywhere with it, they're probably going to know that too. And that's just me assuming, because no such agency has a lot of tools that they can use in regards to that. So maybe I'll get a job offer from the National Security Agency. We'll see what happens.
And Michelle Battistone out there, so hopefully I said your last name right, says too techie for me. I hear you. I'm talking to some of the people that I look up to when it comes to research and understanding, and I'm asking them, and they're scratching their heads. We're all trying to learn this together. And I also see Luke Sly Talker out there.
What up, Luke?
Yeah. And this kind of stuff is more probably in his wheelhouse. So I'm interested to see what he's been working on with that, or where he gets with it. So I imagine pay attention to his Twitter. I'll drop it real quick. He's a great guy. Yeah,
and specifically with regard to that that image of the Red Cross present, Luke said that it has steganographic information hidden within. So initially I thought that Ghidra would be different from the steganographic tools that you would use to figure out if there was information in there and perhaps extract it. But apparently, after going through the information in Ghidra, you can use it to bypass encryption codes. So if anybody is wicked smart enough to go ahead and get that, then go ahead and try it out. And then, let's see. So the next one we had was an article. It says, Then and Now, Brennan and Comey assessment, Clapper assist, hard push. And it has this article right here. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I forgot to drop that DARPA-funded information way at the beginning. So let me put that out there for you guys. And then here's the article I'm going to be looking at right now. FBI agrees with the Clowns in America assessment that Russia wanted to help Trump. Now, this is from, I believe, December 16th of 2016. So this is during the Renegade administration, prior to President Trump coming in. And it's talking about the fact that these agencies agree that Russia hacked the election. They wanted President Trump in. Now, it says then and now in the Post, take a look at what we know today. We know that this was absolute malarkey. There was no hacking by the Russian government. And if they helped anybody, they helped HRC. Now, what's funny is that this came up today, Methods, in the Ratcliffe hearings. John Ratcliffe is up for the DNI position, the actual DNI position. He would take over from acting DNI Richard Grinnell. So he was grilled under like almost 3 hours of testimony today, Methods. You got to watch that, right?
Yeah, I caught most of it. Of course, when the Dems were attacking him or spinning his words, it was fun to watch his reaction on his face. He's like, you got to be kidding me. Because he'd give a straightforward answer and they would be like, we don't appreciate you dancing around our questions.
Yeah.
But outside of that point, I really enjoyed it because one of the first questions that they asked him was, are you going to be willing to expedite for example, the fifth report that they've been doing, because the Senate Intel Committee has been doing these reports on the whole Russia collusion thing, what exactly happened. And the fifth one is supposed to be very important. It's supposed to be a lot of stuff in it that needs to be said. I think a lot of it has to do with what's their feeling on, was Russia trying to help Hillary, or were they trying to help Trump, and the evidence behind it. Stuff like that. And they asked him if he was willing to expedite it, and he was like, absolutely, expedite the declassification. And he was talking about how he will follow the rule of law. He will release all the information that needs to be out there to the public within his guidelines and rules of what he's allowed to do. So he was saying everything we'd want to hear, and the exact opposite of Dan Coates. And somebody had made a point, and I forget their name, on Twitter. They made a really good point, because you remember how we had Ratcliffe nominated last summer, and then it was taken down quickly, and then we're like, we get acting DNI Grinnell. Well, the more we learn about Grinnell, he's awesome. Like, I love him. I love him being there. He knows what he's doing. Him shooting down, I think, wasn't it Schiff he wrote the letter to when he just ripped him apart in the most professional way imaginable. Right now, the Dems are backed into a corner, because if they don't allow Ratcliffe in, then they still have to deal with Grinnell. So it's a win-win situation. Now, obviously, we all love Ratcliffe, or you should if you've been following him, to the point that Twitter has now made Daniel Radcliffe, the actor, trending today.
No doubt.
Just to kind of just mess with the algorithms. It's pretty funny. But everything I wanted to hear, I heard during the hearing today.
Okay, so two things I forgot to mention. WX2 took me to task in the chat, said that this Ghidra tool has been out for a long time. That's right. This is not the first time it's been posted, but I was just talking about it in depth because it was the post that came out today, and I wanted to put it in people's minds again, because there's a reason it's being brought back up. If you've been following for any length of time, then you know this is not the first time it's been posted. One more thing I forgot to mention was that the logo for Ghidra looks suspiciously like the logo for 8kun, Infinite Chan. It's the infinity symbol, the 8, pretty cool. I tend to think that was a nice little nod from our intelligence agencies to the situation we're in right now. So then, along with that article regarding the lying of the FBI and the CIA, the clowns in America, we have several different pieces of U.S. code for treason, sedition, and subversive activities, and we're pointed again to the knowingly and willingly portion. These people knew exactly what they were doing. They were working to overthrow a democratically elected president of the republic, and they're not going to get away with it. They're absolutely not going to be able to scoot out of this one. And the more people that President Trump gets into positions here in his administration, the more information that's going to come out. DNI Ratcliffe is going to be a huge part of that push. I think it's going to be a hot summer, like it's been said before. Let me put this in there.
Most definitely. Now, which article are you referring to?
Well, I mean, I was referring to the FBI agrees with the clowns in America, but I just put in the U.S. code. Website.
Yeah, I mean, definitely read through those codes, because you get to kind of understand the charges. You read in between the lines, because anybody who's paying attention to these things for a while, when you read, the different codes that our favorite Anon's pointing to, they'll be like, if so and so's done this or conspired to do this, you can think about, okay, well, this person did it, that person did it, this media company helped with this, and then you can kind of see what the charges would be. And a lot of them are like no less than X amount of years. So like there are charges that they can't plea out of, I guess, if they're charged with it, because there has to be a certain amount of years attached to it. So it's very fascinating to watch. And that stuff that's being spread around about the secret source, X amount of accounts charging, and names all those people that keeps getting shared around. That's probably just somebody who's looked at these things and did math and reasoning and just said, well, this makes sense, and then put it out there. Because I haven't heard anything out there about specific charges on anybody. Yeah.
So just Luke also said in the post with the toolkit, we have the 8chan logo, and then they're posted right with each other. So obviously, I think there's a direct correlation there. Also, Doc Shrum, I saw what you said in the chat. I have no control over the YouTube memberships. That's all through them. But I would ask, when did you sign up for the original membership? If you signed up at the end of April and then you changed it in May, perhaps that's it. I don't actually know. But let's see. Baby Love 78 says that symbol is the symbol cloud bees used. And I actually did not get to the email yet because it didn't show up. I still don't have it. And I don't know if that's because it's in the spam. I don't see it anywhere. So, yeah, I don't have that yet. And then Dog Dad Patriot, thank you for joining as a member. Appreciate that. Denise says, I think it's about the Red Cross boxes full of money. A present for who? That would certainly be an amazing present on Red Cross Day to have those boxes of money, show up or returned or somehow determined that they were stolen and used for inappropriate things. EO2 Dave says, and then there is the video with all the money in the Red Cross boxes. Yes, going back to that. It's Unspoken says, General Flynn matters, but innocent people on death row. Absolutely, absolutely. Our criminal justice system is broken. And what's really important about this is that General Flynn, this is, I think, going to crack open the corruption at the FBI going back decades. They're going to need to readjust what's happened for all of these cases. They're going to have to go back and look at many, 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 many cases, hundreds, thousands, if not more, cases against people that were investigated by this corrupt FBI and the Justice Department. And I think it's going to make a huge difference. Kathleen Harms says, clinicaltrials.gov per MD links shows trials worldwide for CV19, vitamin C, sildenafil, which is Viagra, natural honey, resistant starch, and ivermectin, head lice meds, also UV light by Cedars-Sinai. Definitely seeing the stuff with the UV light. That was the one that got taken down from this platform after it was publicized. Let's see. So the next post.
Yeah, before you move on, so I just saw this drop on the boards, a Twitter support tweet. I'll send it to you, because this is just another one of those things. I'll read it real quick, but you can have it if you want to show it. Twitter support has tweeted out saying, when things get heated, you may say things you don't mean. To let you rethink a reply, we're running a limited experiment on iOS with a prompt that gives you the option to revise your reply before it's published if it uses language that could be harmful. So, I can't. Yeah, so they're going to go ahead and they're already trying to put roadblocks in your way of your free speech. When I reply with something, it's what I mean, and if I didn't mean it, I'll either say something about it later or just delete it.
Yeah.
But they're already trying to get in your head and get you to second guess your own free speech.
Yeah. Let's see, Marty Chiappa, thank you for that. Appreciate it. So I'm looking for those posts about the farm. I think that was a little bit further back than I had anticipated. But there was some posts about Renegade's mother and grandparents working on the farm. And the farm...
4098, bud.
4090. Oh, wow, that was much further back. Let's see. Here we go. All right, so this meme was done by Awakened Outlaw on Twitter. He and his wife watched the show, so congratulations, buddy. So the post asks, why did Hussein choose Renegade as a U.S. Secret Service codename? Define Renegade. Hussein parents both fluent in Russian. Is Russian a common language to learn? Public career history, mom and dad. Public career history require Russian language as a prerequisite? Not at all. Had nothing to do with what they were supposedly doing in their lives. Farm work takes special skills. Now, I know we've talked about the farm on the channel before, but I don't know that everybody knows, so I'm just going to talk about it. So the farm is essentially spy school for the clowns in America. And this is an article from the Washington Post from 1980. The farm itself goes back decades, and it's actually called Camp Pkwy. But basically, wannabe agents go there, and they learn a bunch of special skills, and they get trained here. And here is some information about Camp Pkwy. It's about 9,000 acres. It's in York County near Williamsburg, Virginia. often referred to as the Armed Forces Experimental Training Activity, and it's under the Department of Defense. And for the clowns in America, it's covertly known as the Farm. So I just thought that was interesting. The Farm has been referred to in popular culture. There's a show that I watched on FX called The Americans. Pretty interesting stuff. It was about Russian agents coming to America, posing as Americans, and of course they had to interact with Clowns in America agents, or maybe they just showed people working for the Clowns in America. I think it was one of those situations where they probably had a clown script supervisor who was there to make the agency look good or better than they actually are.
A great example is the movie called The Recruit.
Yes.
It's definitely, it's definitely them putting it out in plain sight. I mean, it's been a while since I've seen it, but once you can't watch that movie again without seeing them, what they're trying to do by putting it out there in public.
Yeah. Let's see. So Allison Blyer says, Big Brother would like you to reword that. Okay.
Nailed it.
All right. So this is really cool, guys. So an article came out which is from Fox News, and it's called McCabe Reveals the One Thing That Stood Out from His Fateful Interview, or His Fateful Call with General Flynn. Now, this first came to my attention when my friend Enoch put this tweet out. He says, he said, "What a beautiful black sky." This was the comment that General Flynn made 3 times during his interview with FBI agents that struck McCabe as memorable. Now, Joseph Flynn, General Flynn's brother, put this tweet out. He just said, "What a beautiful black sky" at General Flynn. Kind of an odd thing to say, unless you know that there's a storm coming. Now, we looked it up, and the weather at that time actually was a storm. But even still, why would you want to say it more than once? Personally, I think that General Flynn said it multiple times because this is the kind of thing that we would go back and look at, and we would be able to see that he knew exactly what he was doing. Methods, we talked about this a little bit before the show. I definitely believe that General Flynn, as a patriot, knew exactly what he was getting into. He sacrificed himself so that we could save the country. And for the people out there who are still angry with President Trump because he hasn't been exonerated or pardoned yet, the wheels of justice turn slowly. That's really all I can say about it. But if it wasn't for the sacrifice that General Flynn made, I don't think that we could have made it to this point today.
Right. I totally agree with that. And I'm dropping that Fox News article in the chat so you guys can have some sauce on it. Because he said it 3 different times while being interviewed. He just looked at the window and said, "What a beautiful black sky." And so obviously to me, that's referring to, a storm's coming, right? So, and then you think about all these different, the different investigations that are kind of based around weather stuff.
Yeah.
It's definitely leads me to believe more that he knew ahead of time what he was getting himself into. And it is like a big sacrifice. Think about everything that he, so let's say that he knew ahead of time. Mm-hmm. You're being attacked. You're being decimated by the media across the entire globe. Your family's, dealing with all this stuff. They targeted his son. He lost his house. It's basically, but if the end game of this is to help take the country back because it's catching them all, it's creating this paper trail that Durham is now collecting. Mm-hmm. So if you know that ahead of time, how many of us could go through that? A lot of us would say that we would love to for this country because we've been fighting so hard for it just a few years on the internet. Mm-hmm. But could you really do that? And I believe a lot of the people in this movement would. But the idea of that is just, for him to even say it then is just fascinating to me. Yeah. That he would have known this for this long.
Yeah, I think that not only he knew, but obviously President Trump knew. President Trump said the calm before the storm. I think they were all well aware. They were being informed by Admiral Rogers prior to the administration even coming in. Let's see. Dale Bercier says, "I've been sending many people your way. The feedback has been fantastic lately. The corruption being highlighted makes my job easier. Thanks for helping the workday go better." Well, thank you, Dale. I appreciate that, buddy. Ziggy123 says USAID versus Alliance for Open Society International Incorporated. Oral argument today at the Supreme Court. Is this the George S. Open Society? Only on C-SPAN. Open Society, Alliance for Open Society. I know the Open Society Foundation is George's, but let's actually pull that up and we'll take a look, guys.
Well, while you're doing that, I just wanted to mention it real quick because we're getting close to the end of the show. I will be on with our buddy Woke Societies tonight on his channel at 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to hang out and chat with him and a buddy. Just, we're going to cover some of the news stuff, some of the hot topics going on, but we're going to just chat. I'm going to give a little bit about, the history of what I've been doing as methods, the whole how did I get red pilled type stuff. But we're going to hang out and chat. I like his channel. It's definitely up and coming. He just broke 30K subs. I'm dropping his YouTube channel in the chat right now. Let's, everybody go subscribe, give him a chance, hang out with us tonight, and I'll drop the live stream link later today on Twitter.
Okay, so it looks like this is a court ruling from 2013. It looks like argued on April 22nd, 2013 and decided June 20th of 2013. This had something to do with President George W. Bush providing federal funds to private groups to fight AIDS, and something to do with an anti-prostitution pledge. In November 2012, the Supreme Court granted a petition filed by USAID. In a 6-2 decision, they ruled, a majority written by Chief Justice John Roberts, that the government cannot force a private organization to publicly profess a viewpoint that mirrors the government's, but it is not held by the organization itself. Such as a requirement would be considered a form of leveraging and violated the First Amendment protection of free speech. Justices Antonin Scalia and Clarence Thomas jointly filed a dissenting opinion, arguing that the majority's ruling would prevent government funding for specific ideological programs. So that must have been a replay on C-SPAN. Thank you, though, Ziggy123. Appreciate it. And then Marty, he says, last name pronounced Chiappa. Marty Chiappa. Thank you, Marty. Love your show. You and Methods are the best. Love that you love your critters. Love when you show your emotion heart. You do your mom proud. You are blessed. You both are blessed. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. It means a lot to me. Navy Vet says, have yous thought about this? Bible said in Exodus, frogs will be the plague of all countries and end times, and we are now the Pkwy the Frog plague on them. Absolutely, I've thought about it. And, not just because it was posted in that cool meme that one time, but it's occurred to me on a number of occasions that this is quite literally a plague of frogs coming down upon them.
Yeah, I definitely love it.
Yeah. And then the Mikado 16, 3 clicks, and I'll see you again tonight, M3. Beautiful. Yes, everybody, please tune into Woke Societies tonight. He's a good guy, and he has a good channel. Kim Reese says, General Flynn did it on purpose. How do you legally divest someone? How do you legally divest someone? I don't know what the word divest means. I mean, in what respect? Divest. So, hold on. I know, like, divesting your portfolio to strip. How do you legally strip someone? Deprive of rights. I mean, I guess you have to, if you are going to legally divest somebody, you would have to prosecute them, because that's when you're going to be losing your rights, is if you're found guilty. But I don't know if that's what you mean, Kim. But yeah, I would love to see that. Just an FYI, Bean, Bin, Ben, it can be pronounced all 3 different ways. This is a long-standing argument on the channel, and it depends where you're from. I'll tell you that much. It depends where you're from, or who you grew up with, and the accents of people around you. So let me see here. We do have some new information on Fauci. This is something I reported on a couple of weeks ago. Remember, it came out that back in 2014, the lab in the epicenter of the situation given to us by the CCP in China, that lab was given several $1 million by the United States government, specifically by Dr. Fauci, because he was heading up the, the National Institutes of Health, and there is potentially some laws that were broken. Now, we said that at the time. RDoc refuted that. He said that it wasn't, but we have some more information contained in this article, and I'm just going to go ahead and drop it because we've only got 2 minutes left, but I'll let you guys check it out. Elizabeth Coles says, "Thank you, Quarantime has been keeping me sane." I'm very, 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 very glad that it's been keeping you sane. It's been keeping us sane, too. It's been a lot of fun. And, I love you guys, and I'm so glad that you've had the opportunity to hang out with us for 28 individual episodes. We are more than likely approaching the end of Quarantime in this particular form right now, because it's time to open America again, and it's time for the majority of us to go back to work. Hopefully, people are going to go back to work as soon as possible. I don't think that we need to spend any more time destroying the economy. It's recently come out in some studies. They found that social distancing has not been successful in the way that they thought it was going to be, or the way that it was purported to be. And based on that one simple fact, it just does not make any sense to keep our country closed any longer and destroy our economy. The damage to our economy is going to be far greater than the damage to any one individual if we maintain this social distancing. Methods?
No, I totally agree. I mean, Red Pill and I will talk probably after the show about when we'll choose an end date on when we're going to, tie a bow, because the show's called Quarantine. It's got an expiration date. But we are in discussions about potential future other options and ventures. So for now, we're going to keep this going on a little bit longer, but we'll figure out that time and all that. Also, to that comment about us keeping you sane, that's what we wanted the show to be, to hang out with everybody, give them a moment. And also here in an hour over on our buddy 412's channel, he does his show. They always go over all our favorite Anon posts, more so than we did today. There's just certain things we wanted to talk about. So I'm going to drop the link to that live stream like we did before. You guys blew it up. Say Red Pill and Method sent me. I'm dropping the link to that live stream now. So guys, go over there, catch that show. They're really great guys over there.
Please. And one more thing, Baby Love sent over a DM. I'm just going to show you that logo. And then Kim Reese says, I guess to clarify, he would be divested of everything he knows, classified or not, regardless if it pertained to the case or not. That's right. How do you get this information into evidence? Through discovery. General Flynn giving his testimony, talking about all of where the bodies are buried, what skeletons are in the closet. 17 Q-tips. What's up, buddy? I think 37,000 deaths and all the tears of their loved ones will be laid at the feet of Fauci. He's been knowing about the cure since 2005. That's right. I spoke about that several weeks ago on the channel. Someone who was a nurse sent me that medical journal. We discussed it here. And now it's ended up on the board, and many, many people are learning about it. So I'm glad the information is spreading. One more thing, guys. This is the tweet from BabyLove78, and this is the other logo, Cloud Bees, using the infinity symbol. Now, I don't know that it has anything to do with our board here. It's not uncommon for that infinity symbol to be used as a logo, but the reason I think that 8chan and Ghidra are connected is because it was posted in the same drop, and it's kind of been hinted at before. But anyways, guys, thank you to everybody who participated today. I appreciate you for being here. Don't forget to check out Red Pill News as well at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today. I'll be back with a whole bunch of additional headlines and methods. Thank you once again for spending this hour with me.
It's been a lot of fun. Everybody on your way out the door, click that like button for us. Once again, we really appreciate you guys kicking it with us. It's the best part of our day. So have a blessed rest of the day. Go hang out with 412 here in an hour. Drop the link. Make sure you say that we said hello. And we'll catch you guys again tomorrow.
All right, guys. Good luck. God bless. I'll see you tonight at 6, and we'll be back at 2 tomorrow.